So we're going to talk about your digital portfolio. Basically what I did is I went into Canvas and you can see I'm actually closed all of the modules and we're going to scroll down to where it talks about your digital portfolio. As you can see, there's like an overview of what the portfolio is. I'm going to have a video in here for you to actually look at. That's what we're talking about right now. There are going to be some check-ins, just because obviously if we're doing the remote learning, we want to make sure that you're getting things handed in and that if you have any questions, you're asking those. You can email me as well, but if you would actually go and put your question in the check-in, I do check that when we have our classes according to the Drawing Design 2 schedule. The other thing that we're going to have is the course outcomes. You're going to actually be tagging those into your portfolio. And then there are some samples and some other things that we're going to talk about, like how to create the Google site. And then this is actually the rubric down here of how you're going to actually be graded. You're going to be actually handing in a URL. And you'll notice it's due on the 29th. So those of you that are seniors, that's actually for the seniors because their last day of class is on the 29th. If you get everything in by the 29th, you're actually not going to have to show up to class the rest of the year. Those of you that are freshmen through juniors, you're actually going to report to class all the way up to June 5th. And again, you are going to hand that in as a URL down there where it says digital portfolio semester exam. And I just left it as semester exam because that's what it will be next year. I'm not going to go and change that right now, even though right now we're just kind of considering it a project. It is going to be worth 50 points. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to click into the digital portfolio and we're going to describe that a little bit. So basically what the digital portfolio is you're going to showcase and show your mastery of the course outcomes in a digital portfolio through using Google Sites. What you're doing is taking all of the work that you did for the semester and using all of your art vocabulary, you're going to describe what you did in each piece and how well it was done, things that could be improved, and demonstrate basically your growth and mastery over the course of Drawing Design 2. So you're also going to use this portfolio to show your growth, and you're going to also talk about the course outcomes. Not only are you going to talk about those course outcomes, but you're going to actually tag them to the writing, photographs, or videos that you include on your site. So this is where you're going to be actually creating a reply and say, hey, I have this part done. You can probably even link some of your portfolio to it, or you should really link the home page because that's where you're going to be seeing different things, and that's where we want you to go first, or where I would like to see first. And when you publish it, if you don't actually publish from the home page, it just goes to wherever whatever you grabbed. So if you're like way at the end, then the person that's looking at your portfolio has to like toggle back through. So we really want it on the home page. Again, you're just going to post things here by 3:15 for attendance for the day. When we go to the next screen, what you're going to see here is the outcomes once it loads. What you need to know about the course outcomes is basically you're going to be tagging each of these outcomes to an image or video or any of the other possibly written work that you've done in your portfolio. So for example, the first one is the elements and principles of design. Here where it says NS1, that NS1 just basically means national standard. Everything that we do in any of the art classes are all based on national standards, and we've developed those over time, and they like comply with what everyone in art across the nation is going to be doing. But basically you're going to actually tag the standards. So like 1.1, you're going to tag where you had something in the rule of thirds. And then there's the other standards that we have, like making a game plan, studio maintenance, equipment, collaboration, vocabulary, critique, things like theme. You're going to take as many of these standards as you can, but obviously if something you didn't do something in the class or it's not exhibited, don't freak out about not having it there. Part of the reason we list all of these is these standards all are met by that time you're a senior and you've taken all of the different art classes. So if you haven't taken all of the art classes, it makes sense that they're not all in there. So don't worry about that, but obviously you want to take as many as possible because we do use several of them during the course of the semester in each of the classes. So do the best you can there. The next thing we're going to talk about is the portfolio samples. So here there's 3 different samples. I'm just going to click on the first one. It basically will take you to someone's website, and this person, like I had mentioned earlier, you want to make sure that you actually have the home page address on there, because basically when you click on home or you click on hands and feet or any of the different things in here, it changes the URL. So you want to make sure that you're on the home page so that the person that's first viewing your pieces actually sees a good example of what's going on. So this person accidentally left it on the resume there, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So the first thing you see here is that this person, this was their Drawing Design 2 portfolio. What you might want to do, rather than listing all of the assignments just in Drawing Design 2 as its own page, you might want to actually do like Drawing Design 1, Drawing Design 2, and then have these different units as sub pages inside those, because technically if you take more classes, you're going to be doing these portfolios again, and you're going to have other classes in here. So you want to make sure that you are organized as much as possible. So here's the home page of this person's work, and you can see they, listed all the different things. They even included things from Drawing Design 1 that they did, and all the different things that we did in Drawing Design 2. So here you can see the hands, there's a landscape, there's a figure in here. So here I'm going to click on hands and feet, and you can actually see this person tagged the standard. They have who their reference artist was. They listed all of that, the media that was used, why the piece is strong. And what I really like about this is the what I could improve upon part, because it shows that the person's really thinking about making art in the future and what they could possibly do to make hands if they ever did hands and feet again. So obviously you should have the different process images in here, and then this person actually went in and got some feedback from some other people in here. That was something that we had done a while back. What's really great about this is, so for example, I'm in the landscape. This person wrote a little bit of a reflection here on the bottom. You should actually have the reflections that are in the plan and critique form in with this. So like, it's great that this person has, what they can improve, why it's strong, media used, but you should really be putting that reflection in there. So if you did a really good job in the plan and critique reflections, you can actually just copy and paste those right in here, and it's going to be less work for you. So if you did it all the way along the semester, this project of the digital portfolio is going to be much easier for you. One other thing that I just wanted to point out, this person actually included a resume. Obviously, you don't have access to see that image, which is okay because you don't necessarily need to see that. What you do want to do, rather than just linking something from Drive that you'd have to give someone access to see, you probably should save it as a PDF and then actually upload that into your site, just so that nobody actually has to go into the Drive in order to see what you've done there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the samples. There are more samples that you could look at, but we're going to go on to the next page for now. This is actually a video that describes how to create a Google site. We borrowed it from Mr. Medved because he already had one done, so rather than make another whole thing, it's really pretty thorough, and it might give you some tips that you maybe didn't know about creating a Google site. So if there's some new thing that you want to add, like something into the background, like that example that I showed you here, this person put a background behind what they were doing rather than just the general one that was on the site itself. So there's lots of different things that you could do to really impress not only me, but if you're going to show this to someone outside of Nicolet, it would really be impressive if you had it really organized and there was a theme that went with it. So that's up to you, that you can actually go through there and look at that and add any additional things that are going to make your portfolio really pop. The next thing that we need to talk about is the requirements and how the portfolio is going to be graded. So obviously all the projects that we've done this semester are going to need to be in there, and there is a checklist down here at the bottom that you can actually look at. In the remote learning, it's going to be a little bit harder to get all of the things done. We definitely want to do the digital portfolio because that's going to put it could be really good for you to use for college, and or if you're going to use it for getting jobs outside for some employer. It's like really showing, hey, this is what I did at my 4 years in Nicolet, and you could really impress them that way. And then you're going to actually submit a URL for this. So down here, it actually tells you it's a URL, it's worth 50 points. And then basically, you're going to take a look at the artwork. You're going to include all of the artworks so that they are focused and easy to see. You're going to put the reflections in each of those areas with the tagged outcomes, and then basically that your layout is really nice and neat and we can see it. So that's basically what you're going to be evaluated on.